What is up, people? It's your boy and I'm back with another video. Today I just want to talk about the things that I experienced while cycling through Africa that most people probably don't even know about, especially black people, right? If you're black and you're planning on cycling through Africa or wherever you want to cycle through, bike touring, you're in for a huge surprise, right? I'm not trying to discourage you, but I just wanted to share some of the few things that I learned while on the road, right? Number one, when you're planning for a bike trip, bike tour, a lot of things that you're gonna take, a lot of things that you think you need on the road are probably going to end up being useless, right? Half of the things that you're gonna take are gonna be useless, and I mean clothes. I mean cups or spoons or whatever, camping pots or anything like that. Most of these things are gonna end up being useless. Okay. Number two, I would say, as a black person, people are gonna treat you differently. Not bad, but they're gonna treat you differently, especially if you're cycling through Africa. You're not something that they haven't seen before, right? You have the same skin color as them. They see people like you every day, so you might not come off as exciting as you might think, right? And even though you're not doing it to please people, you're doing it for yourself. A lot of these people are gonna make fun of you, right? They're gonna make fun of you. Sometimes they're gonna call you a muzungu, which is like, an African word for white person, and they're gonna sometimes they're just gonna insult you out of nowhere. Sometimes you're also gonna meet nice people, kind people, but most of the times they're gonna also make fun of you, right? So it's not gonna be as easy as you expect it to be as a black person. Number three, I would say you discover kindness through people, right? I'm from talking about the people that's gonna make fun of you, but there's also a lot of kindness out there. There's also a lot of people that are just kind enough to give you a whole bunch of stuff. I'm grateful to all the people that I met. I was offered food, I was offered shelter, I was offered so many things that I never expected I would end up experiencing, I would end up tasting, or even just seeing, right? I remember back in Tanzania, I was one day stranded at night. It was like 6 p.m. I was in the mountains, right? In the mountains of Tanzania. That's South Tanzania. When I was crossing from Malawi into Tanzania, I was stranded. I couldn't find a camping spot because on one side it was like mountains, on the other side it was like a ditch, but in the ditch there was houses, there was people living there, and this guy came up out of nowhere and he just because I asked him for help to find a place where I could set up a tent, right? And he was like, no problem, you can come set up tent at my place. And when I reached there, they were just guys so kind, and they offered me yams. I've never had some yams, so it was the first time I ever had yams, and it was great. They had cooked them with like tomatoes and a bunch of other stuff. They gave me some tea. It was cold. Like, it was a whole different experience. Like, it's all the things that you would never expect to find on the road, but then they just pop up out of nowhere. And the other thing I'd say is, before I forget, there was this guy when I was crossing the border, the border from Malawi to Tanzania. This guy started by selling me a SIM card, right? A SIM card, because you have to buy a SIM card when you enter a new country. How else are you going to communicate with people? So when I was buying a SIM card for data and stuff, the SIM cards that he was selling kind of were never working. Like, we tried putting my SIM cards in the phone that I had, and they never worked, right? I had a small burner phone, feature phone, right? And they never worked. But that same guy ended up being kind of like my tour guide. He took me to the places in that because I arrived around 5 p.m. at the border, right? Right when they were about to close, I think 4 to 5 p.m. somewhere there. Right when they were now about to close, and this guy took me to other places at the border, introduced me to a bunch of people. Then he ended up buying me like sugar and all these groceries that I needed for the road, right? And just when I thought that was it, he ended up booking like a room for me. And he booked a room where I could spend the night because he was about to go home, right? He used his own money, despite me buying a SIM card from him that didn't work. He used his own money, bought me groceries, and bought me a room to spend the night in, right? Gave me the keys and everything. I was like the safest place I ever spent the night in Tanzania. And his name was Chris, I think, so Christopher. And I just want to say, I'm grateful for people like that. The other thing I would say is the weather. A lot of things that we don't know. We think we know a lot about the weather, just by researching and doing the app, checking the apps and the articles and stuff. You will discover a whole different version of it when you're on the road. Like when I entered Tanzania was like the most I experienced. I experienced a lot of things in Tanzania. That's why I keep on bringing it up. So in the southern part of Tanzania, the mountains, it rains, I think, throughout the year, or showers, I would say. And no one told me that it showers until I experienced it myself. I wish that almost every day was like, I'm camping, and my tent wasn't waterproof. I'm camping, it's raining. Every night it would rain, right? And mind you, I'm camping like on the grasses and stuff outside. And I didn't want to sometimes people would offer me come and sleep inside and stuff like that, but I felt like it was too risky. It wasn't too safe for me to sleep in a stranger's home. So I was just happy with camping outside, right? And yeah, the weather was something. And also during the day it was hot. Like the sun was so freaking hot, it would burn the shit out of your skin. I ended up having like a bunch of most of the stuff that you see on my face, kind of like just healing from that same trip. It's been a bunch of months, but I feel like since the time I came back, I've been just struggling with these things. But anyways, that's the weather. What else? The other thing I would say is when you are on the road, you learn to ration a lot of things, especially food, right? You learn that you don't need much to survive. And I mean that. You don't need a lot. There's a lot that you don't need in order for you to survive. You think there's most of the things that you use in a day-to-day activities, you don't need them. When you're on the road, you discover that you only need, I don't know how I can count them, but let's say water becomes like your most important thing, right? When you're cycling, especially on the road, water is like your best friend. Secondly, I'd say food. Yeah, when I was cycling, I left home with like 10 kgs of rice, and that's the crazy part. Like, I spent months preparing for all this. Like, how am I going to survive on the road? Because I knew that I was gonna go on the road without money, right? So I needed a way to survive for like a few months before what I anticipated was going to bring the money, which is YouTube. Like a few months, I'm gonna post some content, blah blah blah. And after a few months, once YouTube starts bringing in some cash, boom, I'm gonna now start coming right back up. But I carried a lot of food. I carried a lot of rice, about 10 kgs, 5 kg on the other side, and another 5 on the other side. Plus a bunch of spaghetti, a bunch of soya chunks. For those that are in Africa, they might know that. A bunch of milk sachets, a bunch of I'm starting to forget a lot of things, but yeah, I carried a lot of food. Basically, food and water becomes your best friend when you're on the road. I don't remember wearing most of the clothes that I took. Right, I took a lot of clothes, but I barely used them. Right, because in my mind when I was packing, I was like, hey, I'm going through countries, right? What if I want to have a good time, leave a bike at a friend's place and, go chill and stuff like that, But that never happened. That never happened. I never had that experience. I never, I never used any of the clothes that I took. Moving on to the next one, I would say one of the things I learned is how to find water, especially now. Well, I don't know how it's like, cycling in other countries, like other continents, but in Africa, this is where being black comes into, being African becomes useful. Like, I'm not saying we're not useful, but I'm just saying being black kind of like introduces the feeling of Ubuntu, like people wanting to help. Because I remember whenever I wanted water, like I could just ask and people would give me water. Like it wasn't such a big deal. And I remember even in Tanzania, in southern Tanzania, where water is so scarce, people would still give me water. But I'm gonna get to the next point. But first of all, yeah, so water, how to find water in Africa when you're cycling. Well, we have boreholes, almost like in every community, right? Boreholes, wells, not dirty wells. We have boreholes and wells, well done wells, like well dug or prepared wells. So yeah, that's how you find water in Africa when you're cycling. And I don't recommend drinking water from the river. I never drank any water from the river. I only drank water from either the borehole or a tap. That's the only water I drank. Maybe the water that I was given when I asked was coming from the rivers. I'm not really sure, but I never got sick. And which brings me to the other point. You should carry a lot of medicine. When I was cycling through Africa, I made sure to carry a lot of medicine, right? I carried medicine for almost anything: malaria, diarrhea, allergies, anything you can think of, right? Anything that you can think of, I carried the medication for that. Because I just went in a pharmacy and I was like, hey, I'm going camping, I need whatever condition you can think of to give me the medication for that. And we started, and they gave me the medication and I paid for it, and that's it, I left. The other thing is data, right? When you're moving, you're making content and you want to upload, right? You need to upload and maybe check your social medias and stuff like that. One of the challenges that I faced is data plans, the data bundle, like we call it data bundles. But anyways, finding internet was such a huge pain in the ass. I had footages that I hadn't uploaded till the card just ended up getting corrupted and I lost the footage. But I edited a lot of videos that I never got to upload. That's why you see like a bunch of episodes are missing on my channel. But anyways, yeah, I edited a lot of videos and I just never got to upload them because of the internet issue, right? Like in certain countries, they would rather give you food than give you access to internet. The only times I remember having internet is if I reach a university, right? If I reach a university, I would connect to like the free Wi-Fi for the school, for the students and stuff, and that's when I would have a chance to try check my socials and upload a few videos and stuff like that. So that was it. Next, what else? I had a bunch of unplanned scenarios, like my tires popping and all that. Because here's the thing, you think you're ready for something until you discover that what you were ready for is not the problem that you're going to face, right? I had a bunch of spawners, a bunch of spares and stuff, but the spares that I had weren't the problems I was facing with the bike. Like, you know, just kind of like, it was just like, what the like the universe is testing me for something that I wasn't ready for, right? So anyways, that was that. Am I forgetting something? I don't know if I'm forgetting something. You can drop a comment, right? I mean, drop a comment, and I'm gonna try hard to reply, or I'll include them in my next video. Because right now, I want to take this seriously and at least upload a few videos every now and then. You know, hopefully, God damn it. But hopefully, you guys are subscribing, watching and subscribing, you know, because that would kind of like help me out a lot. Really appreciate you watching this far. I don't know if I'm ever forgetting something, but I'm sure I am forgetting something. I just don't remember it right now. This was just like me freestyling the things that I could remember off the bat of my, you know, my thoughts. So anyways, thank you for watching. If there's anything else I've forgotten, I'll do a part 2, and I'm gonna include them in the next video. Bye bye.